Hi there. Welcome to episode 42 of Enhancing Human Experience. In this episode, it's all about the gestation period of your vision and how you can quicken it. By the way, Merry Christmas. This episode is going to be airing on the 25th, so I hope you're having an awesome Christmas and getting and receiving all sorts of goodies. So let's get into the show here. So before we get into the show, I just want to share with you some statistics and see if you can tell what I'm talking about. The first one is 21 days, 63 days, about 300 days. And the last one is 624 days. So what are those? Those are gestation periods of animals. Now the first one, 21 days, is the gestation period of a rat. The next one, 63 days, is the gestation period of a dog. And about 300 days is the gestation period of a human being. And this is crazy. The last one that I had mentioned there, 624 days, is the gestation period of an elephant. And incidentally, as I was preparing for this show, I found out that elephants have the longest gestation period of any mammal. So 624 days. That's quite a chunk of time. So why am I telling you about gestation periods of animals? Well, the reason I'm doing that is to make the analogy and to draw the analogy that whatever comes into the material, physical world takes time, right? Everything starts in a seed form or egg form in this case, and is then energized or fertilized and starts becoming something physical and growing, right? And growing and becoming something that's going to eventually be in the physical manifest world. Comes from the unseen to the seen. And I think looking at gestation periods of things, of living things, of animals, including us, helps us understand how our vision comes into the world, because our vision is a thing. Thoughts are things. Ideas are things. And when we're talking about our vision, that is a seed that we plant in our consciousness that grows and grows and grows and eventually manifests itself as an experience or circumstances that we have, right? And so, excuse me. And so we really want to look at how we can quicken that, how we can make that happen faster. And human beings are the only creatures on earth that can actually do that, because we are created in God's image. We have the God spark within us, and we have the power to harness our imagination and our creative ability and focus it on certain things and experiences we want, and actually quicken their arrival into the world. No other creature has this ability. This is what makes human beings special and different from all of God's other creatures. So I think it's a good way to look at that in the sense of why we want to, drawing that analogy. But again, your idea, your vision is a thought that is available and is impressed upon your consciousness. And then, so we want to look at how we can make that happen faster, because, we don't want to be delaying our good from coming to us, or the experiences we want from coming to us, which we can do, because just as we can quicken the process, we can also delay the process, and we can not allow it. We can resist it. And that happens quite a bit of time, and that's what we want to try to avoid. Incidentally, the quote of the week this week, I think this is a good time to share it, speaks to this, right? And talks about aligning ourselves with the good we want to have and manifesting in a quick, fast way. And the quote of the week is by Dattatreya Siva Baba. And he was one of Wayne Dyer's gurus, and is an interesting guy, has a lot of interesting concepts and good knowledge to share. And he said that God and angels manifest instantaneously because their mind is perfectly aligned with divine mind. So just let that sink in a little bit. And I like to ruminate on that quote quite a bit, because there's a lot right in there. And it ties in with a podcast that I did early on talking about aligning yourself with divine mind versus race mind or mortal mind. the more closely we're aligned with divine mind, the more we're going to be in flow, the more we're going to be manifesting the things that we want, the more we're going to be receptive to messages and ideas and intuition and inspiration from the other side. But the more we align ourselves with race mind, which is based on competitiveness and scarcity mindset, poverty mindset, the more difficult life's going to be, right? So we want to stay as much as possible, if not all the time, aligned with divine mind, which Dr. Treya Siva Baba talks about in his quote there. God and angels manifest instantaneously because they live in divine mind. Their mind is only divine mind. They don't have race mind consciousness. They don't have mortal mind consciousness. And so they manifest instantaneously. And we can do that too. It just takes practice, and it takes a constant awareness of that fact, and then it becomes, more habitual over time. But in this episode, I want to share with you 5 ways that you can quicken your manifesting based on this principle of bringing something from the unseen to the seen. And the first way is to realize, this is like the foundation. First way is to realize that you're not doing it. You're not creating anything. Now, I think this is huge because if you think you're creating something and you live in race mind, carnal mind, mortal mind, then you're going to naturally have limitations that are inherent in your mindset, in your consciousness, because you're a human being. But if you live in the spiritual realm, as God and angels do, you don't have those limitations. And so your mind is more free and open to manifest in a fast, easy way. So the first thing is realizing that none of us are doing the manifesting, just like none of us are keeping ourselves alive or pumping our blood or regulating our body temperature. We didn't animate ourselves. We are downstream from that. Yes, we do have the ability as human beings to focus and direct the creative energy within us, the creative power within us, the God spark, the manifesting principle within us. But we didn't start that. We didn't make that. And so right then and there, since we're not keeping ourselves alive, since we didn't create ourselves, we then in turn can't take credit for creating the experiences we want to have in life, the circumstances we want. God gets that credit, right? Or divine intelligence or source, whatever you want to call that energy, that entity that creates, everything. So knowing that you're not doing it takes the burden off yourself to and frees your mind. It aligns your thinking with divine mind. So that's number one, knowing that you're not doing it. Takes a lot of pressure off, doesn't it? The second way is to water one seed at a time. If we're talking about making things happen quickly, manifesting quickly, if you water, and by water I mean put your psychic energy or your focus on multiple things, multiple experiences that you want to have, multiple things that you want to have, each seed is going to get a certain amount, rather than putting all of your energy, your creative energy, and your creative focus onto one seed. If you spread it out, there's not going to be as much as if you just put it on one seed. So watering one seed at a time until that comes to fruition and bears fruit is more effective than watering multiple seeds at a time, because you're just going to be spreading your creative energy among multiple things. It's going to take a lot longer for them to manifest. So the second way to quicken manifesting is to water one seed at a time. The third way is to make sure that your vision, the vision that you've chosen for yourself, is actually your vision and it's not someone else's. If it's someone else's, there's going to be an inherent resisting inside of yourself of making that vision a reality, because you're not going to be fully aligned with it. This is where knowing yourself comes into play, and choosing something to manifest that is a perfect alignment with who you really are, with what you're really here to do. If there's a misalignment there, it's just going to take a lot longer, and it's never going to feel just right. It's never going to feel like a right fit. You're always going to feel like you're swimming upstream or moving against the current. And so choosing a vision that is for you, that is from you, and that is in your heart and aligned with your intuitive wisdom inside of you is really, really important to manifesting very quickly. And you hear people talk about this all the time, that once they got clear on who they were and what they wanted in life, then they started manifesting experiences very quickly because they were in full and complete alignment. This is just as we can hinder ourselves, or just as we can quicken the process, we can also slow the process if we're out of alignment with our own true nature and the things we want. So number 3 is to select a vision that is right for you. Number 4, the 4th way to quicken your manifesting of your vision is to cultivate faith and belief 24/7, 365. These 2 components of manifestation are absolutely huge. Supreme faith in the fact that it's already here and you just need to realize it, your vision, and belief that it's already here and you just need to realize it are so critical. I love the saying that if man had the faith of a mustard seed, he could move mountains. That says so much right there. But so often, again, back to the material world, back to the scarcity and the limitation of the human mind, is that we have a tendency to gravitate towards limitedness and scarcity and poverty consciousness, because that's what we see a lot in the material world. Our challenge is to not focus on that. Focus on prosperity, abundance, the creative power within us to manifest our goals and dreams. Focus on those things much more than what we see in the material world, because let's be honest, there's a lot of scarcity consciousness in the world. And our goal is to turn away from that and focus more on prosperity consciousness. That's the only way the world's going to be fixed, quite frankly. The world is what we make it. And we have the ability to flow that creative energy within ourselves to anything we want to do, but we have to be consistent about it and we have to make that conscious decision. So that's number 4, cultivate supreme faith and supreme belief all the time. Last but not least, number 5, the 5th way to quicken your manifestation is to live in the end, as Neville Goddard talks about. That is just denying the circumstances that you see yourself, but not in maybe denying is not the right word, but that is realizing that the circumstances you find yourself in, or the vision that you are in now, which was a creation of yours in the past, is just that. That's a seed. That's the fruit from a seed that you planted in the past. And every seed bears fruit after its likeness. And so the seeds you planted in the past are going to be bearing the fruit for the vision and the experiences and circumstances you have now. Know that you're changing that by changing the seeds that you're planting in your consciousness now. So living in the end, imagining how you would feel, what you would think, what you would do if you or when you have realized your current vision, and trying to stay there as much as possible in your consciousness, in your psyche throughout the day. Those 5 ways can quicken the realization of your vision. So that's kind of, what I wanted to share about the gestation period of your dream. I hope that's been helpful. And again, Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a fantastic day and make the most of spending time with family and friends. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.